live stream the meeting. Okay.
It's being live streamed now. So we're there. We're there.
It looks like it's working here. So let me make it full. Make it full. I don't know if I should have hit YouTube, but
No, we're on. You're live now.
okay. Now, make this full page. Okay. In the meeting. Can you see
in live stream
here?
So make sure you turn that volume down on that browser. Cut that volume out of there.
On the browser. All right. I don't know if I should have hit. We back to that again.
No, we're on. You're live now.
All right. Where do I on my side? Cut it out.
Yes, you need to turn that volume on your browser down, or if we're going to hear ourselves in delay repeating what we just said.
Now I can't hear you, Diamond. Oh, come on. Every week.
Out of there.
Browser.
So ask Jaden to come help you turn that volume down. You need to turn that. Well, we just send the volume in the browser.
Delay in the browser.
On YouTube. YouTube, just turn that volume down. Or mute it. Mute YouTube.
Oh, I can hear you, Diamond. Oh, come on. Every week.
Well, here's a little bit more comedy for you. We just send the volume in the browser. On YouTube. YouTube, just turn that volume down. Or mute it. Mute YouTube. Well, obviously haven't done it yet because we still hear it.
Don't seem like it to me.
Huh?
In the browser. Oh, see, he wants to turn it down here.
So everybody out there, just bear with us while we try to get this thing figured out.
Like it to me. How does it sound now?
Huh? We still hear it. We should not be hearing it. We still hear it.
That background now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine, but I also can still hear our delayed repeating of ourselves from YouTube. I shouldn't hear that. So mute that. Make sure that's muted. YouTube, you should be able to mute YouTube. Just bear with us while we try to get this thing figured out. See, we still hear ourselves. So we still hear it. We should not be hearing it. We still hear it.
That background now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine, but I also can still hear our delayed repeating of ourselves from YouTube. I shouldn't hear that. So mute that. Make sure that's muted. YouTube, you should be able to mute YouTube. Get this thing figured out. See, we still hear ourselves. So, we still hear it. We should not be hearing it. We still hear it.
That background now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine, but I also can still hear our delayed repeating of ourselves from YouTube. I shouldn't hear that. So mute that. Make sure that's muted. YouTube, you should be able to mute YouTube. See, we still hear ourselves.
Now, I don't think he can hear me at all now.
No, I can hear you now.
Oh, now you can hear me. So
Yeah.
you said in the browser, I'm looking on all right, now, how is it now?
Well, I mean, I can always hear you, but that delay, it takes a little while for that delay to come, and we'll see.
Is the delay still there? Is it coming back?
Well, we have to wait and see it come. It takes a few seconds for it to
Right.
come.
I don't hear it
So,
coming back yet.
so the way you do that is you just put your cursor in the window on YouTube, the where it's playing the video, and you'll see the options come up.
I think we're good now.
I'm not doing it.
I think we're good now because I don't
Okay.
hear the
Okay. We might be good now.
but I'd like to get the volume up.
Okay, so we go like here.
No, don't go too far. I don't, all right, move it up a little. Okay. How does it sound now?
Yeah, everything seemed to be okay now. We're not hearing it.
All right, then I don't need these headphones. All right, cool. All right, Gurudanath Maharaj Ki Jai. To our audience, forgive our second comedy session, and we'll begin with the with the invocation. This is the invocation on page Roman numerals 17. Baba's invocation. Welcome to our study group, and this is the invocation to this particular class today. Pretense of meditation. I evoke the lotus feet of Nityananda, the Supreme Guru, who is the blessing of all blessings, who glances, destroys all misfortune, and bestows supreme good fortune. I evoke the Guru, who is Parabrahma, the Supreme Absolute, who is free from stain and completely pure, whose presence easily bestows the state of Parabrahma. My Sri Guru Nityananda, the goal of meditation, of the siddhas, the foundation of Vedanta, the supreme witness realized through the wisdom of detachment, give us his blessing. May the Supreme Guru, Sri Nityananda, by whose favor man acquires new awareness, who transmits his own inner Shakti into the disciple through Shaktipat and establishes him in a perfection like his own, and awards me full success in the composition of this work. I bow to Sri Guru Nityananda, the Lord of my heart, that he may give me his blessing. Nityananda, who lives in the world of siddhas and yet pervades everywhere, who is the pure, conscious self, the divine power of grace to his disciples, whose grace is itself the knowledge of the individual soul's identity with the Absolute. I pray to Guru Nityananda, that he may bring this work to completion. Nityananda, who lives in the heart of siddha student, who is their supreme beloved, who enters them and works within them through countless processes and movements for the perfection of my meditation. I bow to Sri Guru Dev, the Supreme Father, who is beyond both diversity and unity, whose actions reveal equality and awareness of the soul of all, who easily bestows the state of perfection, and who is the guide of the siddha path. O Sri Guru, giver of grace, you yourself are the knowledge of perfection. I receive from you. You fully pervade everywhere, and siddha students see you repeatedly in the blue pearl. O blue jewel, Bhagavan Nityananda, Sri Nityananda, I bow to your lotus feet. You reveal yourself within the blue pearl in the instant that the ignorant notion of I and mine is destroyed. Meditation on the self is worship of you. Repetition of the mantra Soham is the invocation to you, and full surrender is the offering to you. The supreme bliss that pulsates in the wake of meditation is pure essence. You are the abode. You are the adored deity of siddha students, dwelling forever in the blue abode, in the radiant cluster of consciousness, in the Sahasrara. May Sri Nityananda, the self of all, the goal of thou art that, who dwells in Ganeshpuri and plays in the heart of Muktananda, shower on his siddha student the nectar of supreme bliss and grant them eternal joy and everlasting peace. Saguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. So that's our invocation for today. And from here, we'll go to chapter 37. Baba Hannibal is reading and giving us his insight on the pretense of meditation. So
thank you, Babalaji, and
to the audience,
thank you, panelists.
let me Baba Hannibal. Baba Hannibal is a scholar from ancient times, taking birth, 2 minutes ago in this body, and he has vast amount of knowledge on many levels, and now giving us his knowledge in Vedanta from Swami Muktananda and the pretense of meditation, chapter 37. Baba Hannibal.
Thank you so much, Babalaji. And thank you, panelists and technicians, Sabadea Moon and our civil engineering, Kalyan, and the mother, goddess of Shakti Chakti, Kundalini, Shaktipat, who is on her way to becoming a siddha, aspiring siddha master student and a siddha master herself. So we want to welcome you all to this chapter and just give you a slight overview of where Swami Muktananda has carried us so far in his experience of meditations. The Play of Consciousness is a series of his meditations in the state of the Tantra Loka. And the beautiful thing about what the book, all the way up to this pretense of meditation, is like the peeling back of a purple lotus, where each branch of that lotus is being peeled in each one of these experiences, where he's taking us into you and the universe, the entire universe, as the previous chapter pointed out, are the same. And that ultimately the self, you, are the divinity in a play of consciousness with Chitti, Chakti, Kundalini, Shakti. And eventually, as a student, you will get the Shakti power just by following the instructions of what I believe he says, when we strive to be Nityananda and live an example of Nityananda and all that he stood for, which means a mastery of his life, the different chants and mantras that are on YouTube, etc., that give homage to Nityananda and Swami Muktananda. Now we have more online on YouTube in the queue that you can refer to on the various chants and the mantras, the Om Matsavayas, and Babalaji is going to assist me in the Sanskrit words and pronunciation when I get to those parts, as he always does with his students. So here we go. He's addressing again the unfoldment of the pretense. And as you all know, the concept of a pretense is when you pretend to be something you are not, and you pretending to do something you are doing, not for the essence of what the goal is for you to achieve, but rather to do it as a way of making other than yourself believe that you are someone. And I think that he does that in the very first chapter of making sure you are not pretentious in your experience of meditation. And he does it eloquently. Dear city students, you, in your meditations, you should be conscious, or what's that word in that first sentence?
Genuine.
Genuine. Hypocrites should not be genuine hypocrites and cheat meditation just for praise or to feed their own reputations. Pretense. If you do this, you are just deceiving yourselves. Pick your own pocket. And what's the use of that? Picking your own pocket. When a hypocrite is put to the test, it is hard for him or her to get through it. So pretense is something, dear students, that you must be very, very aware of and recognize that genuine purpose of the meditations is for you to be in the lineage of Nityananda, in the lineage of Swami Muktananda. So that first paragraph, I believe, is outlining a good comprehensive understanding of what pretentiousness is in your behavior. And now I'm on the second paragraph of the same page. It is very good if you are having a lot of karya. And Babalaji, would you please explain to our audience the concept of karya?
Kriyas. Kriyas
Yes, thank you.
word of movements. So when you get the Shaktipat, the Divine Mother, Chitti Shakti, takes over your body. And she'll put your body through various kind of movements that sometimes, you know, they just shake your head like this sometimes, or many, many other things that you cannot control. And it's purifying all the nadis or subtle nerves within the body. Once the guru gives you that Shaktipat, now you are in the Siddha lineage as a Siddha cub, like a lion giving birth to a lion cub. You grow into a lion. The time is left up to your efforts and your own karmas. But once the Chitti Kundalini gets inside of you, it takes over and starts purifying you. And once again, the time that this purification will occur will be upon you and the Guru's grace. Your grace and the Guru's grace. The disciple needs to bring grace to the situation too.
Thank you so much.
Movements.
So, dear Siddha students, play back that part several times as Babalaji gave us the full concept. And say the word again for the students, Babalaji.
Kriyas.
Kriya. Your
Kriya.
meditation should be full of intense feeling, but take care that you don't allow any interior motive
Ulterior.
into this feeling. Yogas of meditation, and then an explanation mark. What does he mean by that? Because he's making that as if that is something that the yogas must know, or is some kind of saying among the masters, Babalaji.
Yogas of meditation, you should store up the wealth of inner Shakti instead of external riches. See, and this is really deep for India, because the guru business is flourishing in India. Like the preacher business is flourishing here.
Right.
You hardly see a poor preacher. In fact, I never see one. And they're saying, be true to the path. He's saying, be true to the path here. Don't try to put yourself up as a, in fact, there's a guru named Nityananda in India. This brother is got riches galore, and he's young. He's very young. And but I'm not trying to talk about any Siddha guru, for the simple fact is us in our state cannot, criticize. And as we have read before, don't criticize the guru. Don't criticize your mighty I am presence. Don't do that. At that very moment, your progress will stop. Understand you don't understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. So he's saying here, the yogis of meditation, you should store up the wealth of the inner Shakti instead of external riches. Don't pretend to be something you're not, because people are easily fooled. you know, I like I said before, and y'all try to tell me different. But for anybody that's into the yoga, that may be listening to this, the criminal has found the path of enlightenment. That's myself. And I'm still on that path, moving toward being one with my mighty I am presence, which is Swami Muktananda Paramahansa Guru Ma, my mother and father. And so, you know, be real. Go for the wealth of the path, and rather than all the accoutrements of wealth that people will heap upon you. You know, they will give you people will get money. People love God and people want to get to God. So they will, you know, help the mission. They will help. But never lose sight of what we're going for here is full realization, ascension. We're going for that. And that's the riches of the Siddha path. That's the riches of meditation. That's the riches of life. And this is what we should be looking forward, or rather moving forward to, the path itself. And as you know, in the Guru Gita, it says the Guru sees wealth as useless. You know, it's like, this doesn't help me to my path. Our daily discipline, checking our character and personality, showing love, get locked into that love, asking your own God self, the Trinity that we exist within. This is who we're supposed to be impressing, who we're supposed to be moving toward. Not the millions of dollars that more than likely will come from any kind of efforts that you put forth, all the other accoutrements of that, and believe me, even other human beings is part of that wealth. You know, for men it's women. Believe me, many a siddha have fell to the beauty of women. In fact, the mind-born son of Lord Brahma, Narada, got out of line at one time. And so God wanted to put him in check, you know, wanted to get him back to the path, because Narada was always going around telling people. He even did it to the Kumaras, you know. So don't get involved in this. Go to God, right? And so Lord Hari, who is Lord Vishnu, who is Lord Krishna, who is Lord not Shiva, he was saying like he had to put the illusion on Narada. This story is in the Ramacharita Manasa by Tulsidas. And he had the illusion of this super duper beautiful woman, super duper beautiful. And he was like, oh no, I want to get this woman, but it was all an illusion. It was all an illusion to wake him up. No, what you going for is Chitti Shakti. What you going for is becoming the supreme. And no matter if it's wealth or money. And to just put a note on this, the same thing was done to Jesus when he was doing the 40-day fast in the mountains. And Satan came to him and said, look, I'll give you all this if you just bow down to me. And he's like, get out of here. You know, get ye hence, Satan. You know, want nothing to do with you. I want God. And so this is, in essence, what Bob is saying here.
And I just really wanted to also explain to the dear students, set of students, why did Baba emphasize again that word that you gave us,
Kriyas.
Kriyas, and what you connect when he first says it in the above paragraph, he then emphasizes it in that closing, in that paragraph of that. So just reiterate to the set of students what a Kriyas is, and then why he's putting emphasis on it again.
You know, it's so interesting. I don't think he's talking to the students he initiated, because he gave us so many high-powered experiences. There would be no need for pretense. But I think he's talking to all of the siddhas in India, or
Wow.
in India. You know, get real and stop jabbing around and misleading the people, because he would give us such powerful experiences. There was no need for pretense. The Guru was the Shakti took over our body so authoritatively that it was doing its own movements, and some of the movements that we would be making, there was no way in the world we could be mimicking them. So I I think he's saying yogis of meditation, and you got that exclamation point there.
Mhm.
You should store the wealth of the inner Shakti instead of external riches. So you got plenty of people that, they're getting into the guru business to make money, to have wealth, to have women, to have fame, to have, all of that. In Siddha Yoga, when you meet a Jagat guru, a worldwide guru, which are rare, when you're in that path, I from my experience, I didn't see that among the people that were in the ashram, but I did see them having many, 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 and all of us, everybody was having these super powerful, supernatural experiences. No need to pretend. And I'm sure most people didn't even tell unless asked of many of these experiences that, we were all having. The guru was giving us such experience. Some people were seeing the blue pearl in the beginning of their sadhana. This was the beginning of their spiritual practices. When Baba would have these intensives, if y'all were to see them, you would wonder, could everybody in here be having it like this? And yeah, you see it. It's right there. So I think he's talking to the yogic community here, and not to the people that was with us, because once you got that Shaktipat, you were in.
Well, again, and I want to thank you for explaining that to the dear students. And if I was editing the work, I would have broken up what I want you to emphasize. I would have made it a separate paragraph all to itself that I like for you to read all the way to the very end, where he's emphasizing the role of the hypocrite. I would have broken that up into a paragraph all unto itself. And I think you did a very good job in explaining of why he bringing back the whole context of the title Pretense. So would you read that with the special emphasis that Baba has laid that down, if that was a paragraph all into itself?
Actually, Baba's real quick. Before we move too far from the point, I think Kellyanne has something to add to it, and then
okay,
I do as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
It's okay, Kellyanne.
Okay. Go ahead, Kellyanne.
Yeah, I wanted to just give some insight. When I read this chapter, I began to think about my meditation practices and thought about asking myself the question, am I pretending or am I meditating? And so I think there has to be a point where I truly understand that meditation is that state of grace or silence that I go into, and it's not something that I do. It's a practice that gets me to that point of meditation. And then I think it requires me to have some sort of deep moment of reflection about my own judgment or without judgment, and then just to open up my mind, my body, and my spirit to the fact that I'm examining this act of meditation, and it's not a performance. And so this was a very important chapter to me as I develop my skills. So I just wanted to give you insight on what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
And once you get the Shaktipat, believe me, it's going to change.
And in addition, I want to say just in regards to what I felt like the emphasis first on the kriyas, and then why he chose to address or use the phrase yogis of meditation with an exclamation point. So, and, I'm studying because words are entire concepts kind of packaged in just a few symbols, right? And then this is me studying, of course, the Metta Nature and everything. I realized it's symbols, and that's what the alphabet are. Those are symbols. And so these are a few symbols put together just like the Metta Nature. And for those who don't know what the Metta Nature is, that's the hieroglyphs. You would the Egyptian hieroglyphs, which we know are Kemetic hieroglyphs. But when these things come together, they come together to package an entire concept. And so the concept, when we talk about kriyas, in my experience in being raised as Southern Baptist and also moving on to non-denomination, experiencing Pentecostal Christian churches, they experience kriyas a lot because I see people going through, as Babalaji had laid out, movements that seem to be out of their control. And we call this getting the spirit. So they got the spirit within church and the Holy Spirit, right? And this is when they would start doing things, and they would start doing the shouts, the dancing and falling out and things like that. It was quite scary to me because I had never experienced it myself, but I've seen other people experience it. And but what I see was the people who were experiencing this themselves were able to let go, completely let go, and get this feeling. This is why it talks about it's an intense feeling. So they were able to surrender completely to that energy and experience this intense feeling. And so it of course, when you surrender to it, of course, it makes your body move in all these different ways. So I get why he's talking about the kriyas and why he's expounding upon that right here in the beginning, because he's talking to a specific level of people who are experiencing this in on this path in this way, to where they're ready to release and completely surrender. And when he talks about the yogis of meditation, he's specifying who it is he's talking to.
Yeah.
The yogis of meditation, the yogis, and so he's giving them instruction, like the ones who understand and favor the nutrition from which meditation that can be derived from meditation. So the difference between a plant's roots, who gathers the dirt for the sake of gathering the dirt, and then there's a plant who has roots ciphering the nutrition from the dirt. So it's you got, and those plants will grow quite differently, So he's talking to the ones who are ciphering the nutrients, the treasure from meditation itself, not just the outward expression, because somebody take a picture of themselves with the eyes closed and they have this mudra, where the index and the thumb are touching, and they're in the lotus position, and the eyes closed, they look like they're meditating. Then everybody would be thinking like, oh, that's a meditator, this somebody who's on the spiritual path. Automatically they would think that, but that person is probably just doing that outwardly and not necessarily inwardly. So so he's been very specific as to who he's talking to, and it's not everybody.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, just as Carrie Ann did and Babalaji did. That's why I would have broken it up into 3 separate paragraphs, because I think Babalaji hit the nail directly on the head of people who are doing it to pile up wealth.
Yes.
It's the same thing that Christ says. Do not. This is not for you. I mean, all through the teachings of the Christ, it's do not do any of these teachings, or do not engage in this path of Christ consciousness for the purpose of piling up wealth, right? For the purpose of being one thing, sort of like in the song by the Temptations, Papa was a Rolling Stone, and he went to preaching, but all the time reaching, and how do you do that? In the name of the Lord, right? Healing in this and healing in that. In the name of the Lord, you are a pretense, you are a karyas, you are a hypocrite, right? Because you're doing it for the money, and you're not doing it to raise the students into the Siddha master path. And that's why I wanted Babalaji assistance in this chapter because I saw how heavy it was, and I said, Babalaji is going to have to work me, Carrie Ann. I had to go back to your veggie back thing. Well, I'm going to be asking Babalaji to carry us through this chapter. I'll do the reading, but he's going to take us into what these concepts really mean. And I think he hit it right on the head, audience, that he's talking to those people who came to America and go to Europe and make buku money being yogis and riding in limousines. And some of them have 4 and 5 limousines. And they're preaching and reaching and getting yours, getting mine, and all in the name of yogis. But anyway, Babalalji, thank you, Carrie Ann, and thank you, Deamu, for that brilliant analysis of why he emphasized, and that was my sentiment. He was saying that you must make this work an intense feeling, right? Feel it intensely. And you took it to the level of seeing people taking it. And we see it all through African traditions. And the
Absolutely.
and the Dogons and the Yoruba, when they let go, we see it in the Pentecostal church. I was raised in one of the Mother Horn Church. You pray for me, I pray for you. And when those drums got to rolling, and people start talking in tongues, if people were sick, all the reverend had to do was lay on hands, and these people were healed, right? Because of what you're talking about there. I've seen that in
Yes.
Mother Horn Church. I've seen it. I had a nail that when I was 13 years old, I was playing by the East River Babalaji, which was my favorite spot on 135th Street in the East River, where we used to swim and fish and everything like that. But I stepped on a nail that went through my sneaker. And Mother Horn Church, as you remember, Babalaji was on 131st and 130th Street, and what is now Malcolm X Boulevard, but it was the old Lenox Avenue. And the church was the Mother Horn Church. He said, he said, "Oh, I go to a church. They can heal that." And I had to hop from 130 5th Street, 132nd Street in the East River, all the way over to Malcolm X Boulevard on 1 foot. And when the Reverend got to looking at me and got his chorus and everything together, they start playing those drums. They start talking in tongues. People got exactly what you were talking about there. I'm on with that spirit. That man put his hand on my foot with the nail that the nail had went into, and it was like everything healed. It was like I never stepped on the nail. The skin came back together. There was no more pain. And I was 13 years old. And I said, oh, this is some real, what you call it, Babalaji, Mukajumi. You told people that Mukajumi is more powerful than anything else. But when Mother Horn Chorus and the Pentecostal did that to me, I was hook, line, and sinker. There's some real hika, some real magic, and some real miraculous energy. And what Brother Dayamun is saying, when you let go and stop pretending and get into becoming a sort of master student with the intensity that Baba is talking about on this first page, and not be pretentious, you're on your way to what Carrie Ann said to us last week, to be a master in this sort of path. So thank you, all three of you. And may I go on?
Yes.
Please, yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. And then, of course, my paragraph is the same second paragraph on the page, but she possesses full knowledge of the carriers and events of the past, present, and future. When he says she's talking about Chitti Chakti Kundalini. Recognizes.
What line are you on in there? What line are you on there?
At the she. It's in that, it's very good paragraph. If you are having a lot of caveats, Your meditation should be full of intense feelings, but take care that you don't allow any interior motives to get into this feeling. Yogis of meditation, and you hit the nail on the head. That's who you was talking to. You know, the pretentious who's doing it for the money. So later on, after that, after he emphasizes it again, the next word is she possesses, and he's talking about Siddhi Shakti Kundalini. She possesses full knowledge of the Karyas and events of the past, present, and future. For she is no different from the omniscience Shiva. According to now, Babalaji, I need you to explain that next concept.
All right.
According to the Baba, take it.
She possesses full knowledge of the Kriyas, events of the past, present, and future, for she is no different from the omniscient Shiva. Remember when we were reading in previous chapters that it's the goddess who manifests in everything, you know, out of the supreme. It's the goddess that does that. Siddhi Shakti is the expression of God. She's the first expression of God. Siddhi Shakti, the omniscient, not the omniscient, the quiescent, the quiet, the unmanifested, the mobile even. No, I shouldn't say mobile. It's that part of God that we rarely ever see. What we see is Siddhi Shakti. So the Shakti is every lepton and electron and atom, you know, that's the mother, right? And but every now and then, just to have some fun, the unmanifested will manifest in the form of, you know, Krishna, the avatars that come to the world, you know, and have this godly power. And here's the other thing. This is what's really, really interesting in the game, in the game of consciousness, in the play of consciousness, right? This same Chitti is not only her, it's us. We are that same Chitti, but also a spark of that same unmanifested. And part of the game, you know, when you want to be the real hero, you manifest as a Siddha Guru or a Jagat Guru or Bhagavan Nityananda or Saint Germain or Jesus the Christ or Buddha and all like this. And now you are here, the unmanifested in person, playing the game of consciousness. That's why Baba titled this book, The Play of Consciousness. Most of the time, we're not playing that level. It takes extreme effort and grace. Key phrase, grace, to get to that level where you decide you want to be the Christ. You decide you want to be the manifestation of the unmanifested. And you do your mantras, your prayers, your decrees, your chanting, your meditation, and you're serving a guru. You really want to get down with the get down, you will find a perfect guru and serve that person and be in a community of other people that's doing the same thing until you become that person. That doesn't mean you have to stay there all the time. You could wander around if that's your destiny, go to the Himalayas or, you know, Peru or anywhere. But the master, the one who is perfect, it's like, you want to be like Bruce Lee? Find Bruce Lee, you know, and let him teach you how to be like that. Find the master. Bob used to say all the time, everybody, no matter what they want to do, they will find a master. But they don't feel like that as far as the finding God is. The most difficult thing of all, which is still the most easiest thing of all. They're not trying to find a master who has attained what they want. They think that spirituality should be free and that you automatically know everything. It is true and so untrue. You know, until somebody turns on that switch, until a divine master, spiritual master turns the switch is cut off. And you may think you know, but you don't. You know, like in the Guru Gita, it says, he who knows, knows not. He who knows not, knows. It's like, you know, get with the master, to learn from the master. And this is one of the signs that you'll be able to pick up that you know you are with a true master. Within 30 days, he's going to give you a supernatural divine experience. And then you'll know, because that experience would not come about had you not met that master. This is how you.
Algae, that was brilliant. And would you be so kind as to finish up that entire paragraph and explain the Sanskrit terminologies to our students that he's quoting when he says in that next sentence after Onish Shiva. Now he's, I think, dropping the major bomb. Would you please give our dear set of students your insight into the rest of that paragraph?
That's omniscient Shiva. I'm having the same problem JD was saying to me just today, not seeing words that that
Omniscient.
omniscient that we already know. Anyway,
well, I got the whole page highlighted in red and yellow. So
anyway, okay.
thank you. But I knew this was, I knew Dayamoon and Kellyanne. When I read this chapter, I said only Babalauji can take us through this chapter. I'm not going to even fake it. Go ahead, Baba, you got it.
Okay. She possesses full knowledge of the kriyas and events of the past, present, and future. She is no different from the omniscient Shiva. It is the Shakti of Shiva that underlies the kriyas and is embodied in the living creation, in living creatures. The same Shakti of Parashiva is active in you. The same Shakti lives in the Supreme Guru Nityananda. O Siddha students, you should be sure that your sadhana path is good, that it is authentic, because as your inner self, the Shakti underlying these kriyas sees everything. So don't think, I had experience to give you an idea. I had an experience which I don't want to reveal, and I didn't even know I was wrong, right? And the seven mighty Elohim who lives in our forehead, the seven mighty Elohim live in our forehead, right? They came after me. I was like about 12, and I was like joyous, like, wow, what is this? And then they was like, they spoke in I'm assuming it was Sanskrit, but it wasn't English. And they spoke loud, and I was scared when they were speaking to me. So I tried to run, and hide here, and I tried to run and hide there, and I tried to run and hide. And the more I tried to hide, they shone this greater light on me. I was like 12 at the time, and then I realized you can't run from this, homie. This is what they're talking about here. The Shakti sees everything we do in secret, things that we wish nobody knew about us, all that kind of stuff. The Shakti is there, a witness of the inner witness of every single solitary thing we have done. So don't pretend, just go for yours. And I would say to anybody listening, you really want to be on the path, find a perfect siddha master. Someone like you, and there's not as many as even when I started on the path 50 years ago. Not as many now as there was then. But you got Guru Mai up in the you got Amma, the hugging saint. There's not a whole bunch. You got Sadhguru. You have true spiritual masters who have the knowledge. Trying to attain spirituality or full realization or ascension on your own is like trying to catch the wind by dint of your own two arms. I remember when we used to go to Tree of Life on 125th Street in Harlem, right? Between 7th and Lenox. We was reading books like nobody business. But when I got living with a city guru, and we was like in India, and I'm really studying now, it was like I had to throw all my understanding out, because I'm understanding it from like the position of a child, as opposed to someone who's now with a master, getting clear information and clear insight onto the divine knowledge. So a teacher is important, That's the end of that chapter. So you up.
Okay, Babalaji, I'm going to ask
I
my
didn't get to
brother,
that, or did I?
my dear
Yeah.
beloved, adopted son, Sabadea Moon. I'm full with this first page, brother. I'm full. And I'm now going to ask for you and Dea Moon to carry the audience into the deepness of the next page.
Let me ask a question. Did I get to the end of that page?
Yes, you did. You did.
You did.
You
I
finished
just
it?
wanted you to pronounce all of the Sanskrit words that he said according to the Spanda Karikas. You know, I wanted you those Sanskrit terms that I wanted you to carry the students into the meaning of the Sanskrit terms. Karen, did you find these terms in the glossary?
Well, that's a scripture. But I'm trying to. I'm on another page looking. Boy, oh boy, Lord, I tell you, sometimes.
It's okay. It's okay, man. You've earned those glitches. You've earned them.
Brother, you know, when you full, I'm saying you've done such a good job of filling me up. I'm saying, no, man, let me digest what you just dropped.
All right.
So yeah, it starts with on page 233. It starts with the sentence where you were. She possesses full knowledge of the Karyas and the events of past, present, and future, for she is no different than from the omniscient Shiva. The next sentence, according, and then the Sanskrit terminology follows.
This is the verse, right? I skipped over that verse. In fact, according to the Spanda Karikas, Sayam Krityanam
Yes.
Mika Shakti Shivasya Pashut Vatini, which is in English, it is the Shakti of Shiva, the underlying the Kriyas. It is the Shakti of the Supreme Lord that's underlying these Kriyas, and is embodied in living creatures. The same Shakti of Parashiva is active in you. The same Shakti lives in the Supreme Guru Nityananda. O Siddha students, you should be sure that your sadhana path is good, that it is authentic, because as your inner self, the Shakti underlying these Kriyas sees everything. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And again, that same concept is embodied in the concept of Ra. You know, in the Kemetic tradition, it's so this is why I love about the. That's why I say every time we come to a different group of words, a different name, but there's the same underlying concept, the same underlying. So just because of that, they say whatever is true, it holds up no matter what scenario that you come across. And so I'm finding in all of these different, tradition, cultures, and expressions of truth, this truth holds up. That is there in all of us by whatever name you give it.
as I said before to y'all, I got so deep into the Vedic tradition that I ran into esoteric Christianity.
Yes.
Saint Germain and all like that. And it's like, holy cow, and this holds through all the traditions. Buddha was Indian. Buddha wasn't Chinese or Japanese.
Right. Yeah.
From India, and that was the half. Is his disciples took it to these various places, just like Jesus' disciples took Christianity around the world, and his took Buddhism around the world, and Islam around the world. And notice it's like the avatars come, and their disciples do the work,
Mm-hmm.
and they take the teachings various places, and sometimes just because of language alone, it's interpreted a little slightly different, and make no doubt about it, the sinister forces also have, and their disciples are active rocking and rolling. They ain't playing. And they're taking wickedness to seem good all around the world.
So yeah, it's funny. I've had a conversation yesterday with actually another Mason who was and I believe he's a high degree Mason. I don't know what degree, but he's a very high degree Mason. But even he called me to ask me about the principles, when we talk about principles versus affirmation, the difference. And I said there is a difference between affirmation is the play out of principles. Principles play out through affirmation. And when we recite affirmations, we're trying to align ourselves with principle. And so we were talking about this in terms of the principles of Ma'at, and even with that, he was saying, well, when we talk about truth, justice, order, righteousness, and so forth, harmony, I said those are principles that you want to find in every relationship between all things and all people. They outline principles. And but the way we accentuate them, the way we express them is, and we've known that these things are there, is by the DOI, or the declarations of innocence, because we're innocent from these things that violate those principles. And so when we look at these concepts, and these which are full of principle. They always talk about principle. And I think it's important that we learn to understand the underlying principle in all these things. And that way we can start to connect. Because I think at the end of the day, what this is bringing us to is a realization of oneness. And sometimes we get lost in the terms that they're wrapped up in. And this is what separates one school of thought from the next. And a lot of times we see these schools of thoughts debating, and they don't realize they're saying the same thing. They don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about it, is that I'm so at home in as a Siddha Yoga student, and I don't feel any different than being a Kemetic student, a student of Kemetic spiritual science. It feels the same to me, and that's the beautiful thing about it, is that I could see it all.
And that's why
Give me 1 second, Baba.
okay.
The Egyptians felt that same way studying the Atlantean information and the Lemurian information.
Yes.
For thousands of years before them. They were not relating to Africa. They were relating to and the knowledge, the high-powered knowledge that they were getting from Atlantis, because Egypt was a student of Atlantis. Atlantis were the students of the Lemurians, and they was having thermonuclear wars, between them. China and Egypt was still like the kids on the block. And dig this. The people that were here in America that you read in Saint Germain was the grandfather to all those other civilizations. And we don't even hear a peek out of them. This is where we start talking about the Tartarians. What they have done as far as hiding knowledge from us, especially historical knowledge, it blew my mind when I found out that the people, not the NSA or the CIA or any of these other secret organizations, the people who had the highest clearance of all other agencies were historians. That blew my mind. That totally blew my mind. And as you already know, Baba Hannibal, when you asked, I think it was Garner, you didn't answer my question when you was in the lecture and you was asking Garner. You didn't ask my question. He kind of like gave you the flip-flop and the wham bam. And then when you went to him after the lecture and you said to him, you did question.
Leakey's son, Betty and Louis Leakey's son. Yeah. Yeah, at the Smithsonian Institute. Yes.
And he said, if I answered your question, I would have lost all my funding.
He said my bankers would have withdrew their funds if I would have connected your question to the culture that we're talking about. But audience, I am
Wow.
full on that page, and I thank Babalaji and Dayamun, and I love Dayamun connecting because that I believe Dayamun hit the nail on the head when he connected it to the truth of the Carios. And that's what I labeled that first page, Dayamun, the
Okay.
truth of the Carios. And I didn't really know how deep that concept was until Babalaji. That's why I needed, when I read this, I said, wait a minute, it is important that I get through this first page, and I can't do this without Babalaji's coaching.
Right.
I guess I'm full. I gotta let some of this digest. It's like, I'm asking you there, Amu, to pick up, and Babalaji, if y'all was carry people into the next pages, and you can stop wherever y'all get exhausted because he's dropping bombs almost on every
On
page.
every page is
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get exhausted because I'm too excited. But I want to say I would not have the understanding that I'm having if it wasn't for the guidance of Babalaji, because Babalaji is really allowing me to truly understand what I'm seeing here.
Exactly.
I have enough experience to connect, to make the connections. But if it wasn't for Babalaji, I wouldn't have the understanding I have. So I want to send out just thanks and gratitude to you, Babalaji, for your guidance on all this.
Do
You're welcome. You want to pick up at the top of page 234?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take that. So top of page 234. So I know a good yogi who gives Shaktipat. He has everybody meditate standing up in a line. And when they all lined up and ready, he says the words, I give. At this, everybody is strongly affected and they begin doing all sorts of kriyas. Some people weep, some laugh, some cry out, and some dance. After an hour of this, he says, I take. And they all come out of meditation and return to their normal state. If someone does not come out of meditation, the yogi has to say to him, come out, madhavji. You can help me with that word. And then come out, udhavji. And the person is not considered ready for meditation. That yogi says, kriyas take place when I give the Shakti of my own accord by saying, I give. When I take the Shakti back by saying, I take, and someone doesn't come out of the meditation, then that person is meditating not because of the force of Shakti, but because he is a fraud and a hypocrite. Ain't that's a gut
I'm
punch.
saying he's dropping bombs.
It makes you want to check
Has
yourself,
already explained to us who he's dropping those bombs on.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
he's dropping bombs.
So there are many people who tell each other, I had such a wonderful meditation. I had such wonderful feelings. It was so marvelous. They say this simply because they want praise. Their meditation is for applause and is not the meditation of the self. The poets call this meditation heron meditation. I like this concept that he's about to get into. I love this. So the heron shuts his eyes and stands in a lake, pond, or running stream, meditating for hours on end. He spent his whole life like this, standing in meditation for long periods every day. Yet he has not received Shaktipat or seen the inner lights or realized God. This is because he does not meditate on God, but on fish. He does not meditate for the peace of the self, but in order to kill fish to fill his stomach. He practices the meditation of nourishing the body by eating good fish. It is a meditation of enjoyment and pleasure. If someone said to me, Babaji, There are lots of herons meditating in the river over there, and they never leave the place. So why don't they get the rewards of meditation, namely bliss, the vision of lights, and samadhi? I would say to them, what a good question you have asked. How clever you are, how wise, how perceptive. Who knows what a high state you have reached? However, you are talking like a blind man and a fool. Ain't that something? He puts you up and drop you right back on your head.
Yes.
He said, look, brother, the heron meditates to catch fish, to eat and enjoy them, and to make himself strong. There are yogis just like the heron. They do not meditate on Sadguru Nityananda or the divine Shakti. These heron students do not meditate on nature of their own, but on fish. On their own self, but on fish. And that's what they get. One who meditates on fish will always catch fish and eat fish and be peaceful and contented. Tell me, can you find God if you meditate on fish? Can you see the inner lights if you meditate on fish? You meditate on snack bars and films, and yet you want samadhi. Meditating yogas, you won't find paradise through heron meditation because you find whatever you meditate on. If Siddha students were to understand the Guru's Shakti, they would be saved from this artificial heron meditation. The Shakti that brings them meditation works in them in 5 forms, which are described in the Tantra Sara as follows. And I'm going to just read I took notes on this too. I wrote these things down. I'm just going to read the English here. The power of intelligence or pure light of intelligence is Chitti Shakti. Chitti Shakti. The power of will is, and you can help me, Iksha Shakti. The power of realizing absolute bliss is Ananda Shakti. Ananda Shakti. The power of knowledge is Jnana Shakti. The power of creating is Kriya Shakti. Was I close on those terms?
Perfectly.
Okay, thank you. So this means that Chitti Shakti enters you from Sri Gurudev with her supreme radiance and her independent joy. She performs countless miracles out of her own free will. She knows everything in your heart, great and small. She knows which yogic kriyas are necessary and should occur in your particular case, and she causes these kriyas to happen. In other words, the supreme Shakti of the one Parashiva, whom we call Chitti Shakti Kundalini, and the Shakti of the Guru's grace or the Guru's own spiritual power, lives within you in her 5 aspects: consciousness, bliss, volition, knowledge, and action. Chitti Shakti lives in the same form in the immanent Shiva and in the transcendent supreme Shiva, and she lives in the same measure within your Guru. Furthermore, and I thought this next part I thought about you, Babalalji, that that which is in your Guru is naturally in you. So if you belong to the Guru and stay his Shakti will be in you to the same degree. This Shakti is not the present. Oh, I'm sorry. This Shakti is not present in heron meditation. That was
comment there. I go right back to it, but I had the same. That's why I said, Carrie Ann. I said, no, wait a minute. This is another Babalalji chapter.
This is it, sure is.
I said, this is totally a Babalalji chapter. I don't even fake it. But when I started seeing how he was trapping these bombs and how they cleared it up,
But very
he was talking to these fake yogis, right?
Right.
And so go on, pick it up there, man. I just wanted to say, when I finished that page, I said, "Oh, this is Babalalji again."
Yes.
I
Well,
have
I'm
the
sure
same
Baba Lauji
feeling
have some
you have.
comeback on that. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Baba Lauji.
Kellyanne was trying to say something. What were you going to say?
No, but the instructions and the details are very clear to me now. That
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would tell you that there were times, especially when people would come to the ashram on Sundays, right? Like the ashram was open for people. People from Mumbai would come in, or at that time Bombay would come in, and they it'd be like they hear talking. You know, I'm gonna take an intensive, and they'll take an intensive, get the Shakti pot. I'm not gonna say lose their mind, but
Lose their mind.
some of them change was all secret. They was just chilling like a villain, and they was in there, going home, doing the practices, and all like that. And then some would think that they're in an exalted state and would start walking various ways. And when I say, I mean literally walking, like they were. I saw this one guy. He would walk, and literally every step he took was like higher and higher. And I was like, what happened to that guy? What? And he just felt like, I got the Shakti pot. I had a high powered experience, and I'm above, everybody else. And but the guru always gets you. One of the key factors of the guru is to get the ego. That's the thing we created. Once he gets that and he snatches that and he got a hold of that and strangle it by the neck, there's only God left, until it's dead, like a burnt out thing, and it only operates as a personality and not as a full-blown human. The human is a monster. The human will do anything. A human being will do anything to get what he wants. And you only got to give him the right circumstances and time, and he'll do it. So when like Jesus is on the mountain and Satan comes to tempt him, the average human being would be like, okay, cool. Really, you see this all in Congress. You see this all in
The music industry. You see it in film. You see it, yeah.
This is what I'm saying. And so and in fact, I saw one girl on YouTube who said, I wanted to be a singer, but I couldn't sing. And someone told me that I could sell my soul and do that. All I have to do is give up my mother's life to do that. She goes and tell her mother, and her mother was so loving. She said, I'd gladly give up my life and this was on YouTube. I give my life so you who can't sing will become a great entertainer. This is deep.
We've seen this too just throughout, because we know some of my favorite artists. Every one of them, almost every one of them who has had family members die. I mean, look at Eddie Levert. I love Eddie Levert, but look, all his kids are now passed. Even the two who decide to sing, at which their deaths are pretty much mysteries, Gerald and Sean. Look at Kanye came. He made a sacrifice his mother. He admits that, by the way. This is not new news. Jennifer Hudson, who I love, also her family. And then you got even there's this group called Daughtry. As soon as he got famous, he lost a child. So it's just all kind of things. So I understand these things are not just by coincidence. That's the signing on a red dotted line.
With your blood, literally, with your literal.
Yes, with your blood, right?
On there, and the guy on the nighttime show, I don't know if he had Lady Gaga on there, and they were talking about Lucifer, and he said out loud, that's how I got this show. So
Yeah.
it is rife with
Yes.
humanity. And another thing we need to take into consideration, there was those heroes who didn't take it, like one of my big idols, Muhammad Ali. I'm not going over there kill no Vietnamese for nothing. Ain't no Vietnamese call me nigga. Ain't no Vietnamese oppress me, And he caught. I mean, it was like, for me, after that, I saw that, I was like, Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
They had us hating Muhammad Ali. They had us hating him before that. He's a big mouth. Because you had to be like Sammy Davis Jr. or Sidney Poitier. You had to be the good Negro. Muhammad Ali was like, nah. I know what's right. And I'm going to tell it to y'all to your face. My opposer. You're the one who hate me. I'm not going to be your good Negro. And after me,
I have to intervene, and I have the clip. where he's on the show. And I'm going to send it to Day Moon. So that point, I mean, he is so brilliant and so comical at the same time. He was saying, if I was about any of what you're talking about, I must be crazy or I must be true to what I'm talking about. I've been offered billions of dollars. I've been offered to come on television program, to sign commercials, to do this. He's talking to David Susskind. And this guy is attacking him from right and the left. And he's so brilliant. In that clip, he's saying, wait a minute, come into the ring with me. I'm gonna get you in 4, and you go 4. I'm gonna get you in 5. You a 5. I'm gonna get you in 5, and you will dive to the flow. I mean, he started being comical. All of those bolts of bedevilment that they were shooting at him, he was saying, "I'm about submission to the will of Allah. I didn't come here to give my soul. I came here to go to God." Right? And he said, I must be crazy or I must. But anyway, there I'm gonna send you that clip after the
Okay.
show so that you will put it in context. So when Baba Lauji is making that point, you can show, a segment of what inspired Baba Lauji and me. I was telling someone in my employer, I said, when I heard the same impact he had on you, when you watched that, Baba Lauji, I said, when I saw Muhammad Ali take Al Hajj Malik to another level and was able, you can see why they sent Howie Cosell on him to be his main man, right? Because it was after he shot the pieces. David Shuskin, and this guy is coming with bolts of bedevilment. And Muhammad Ali is so serene. I'm not a black Muslim or a white Muslim. I'm a Muslim who submit to the will of Allah. I'm talking about 600 million people who believe like I do. We have black Muslim, brown Muslim, yellow Muslims, and red Muslim, and we have white Muslim. What are you talking about? How many Muslims do you have, Mr. Suska? We have Jewish Muslims. We have Hebrew Muslims. And then he was funny. They said, we can't mess with this guy. In the same way, Baba Lauji, that impacted you, I knew it was no turning back for me, Day Amon. I was saying, no, this is the only way I'm going, right? But you will finish, Baba Lauji, your point. But like I said, when I started reading this, I said, this is a Baba Lauji chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you on that. I'm going to send you that clip right after the show so that you can fix it in and tie it to and show the audience what inspired Baba Lauji at that. How old were you when you saw that? Because this is after Malcolm's assassination, right? He's denouncing the Muslims as a criminal organization and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that want to see all white people die in the War of Armageddon. And Muhammad Ali cut that shred and made a comedy out. He made it into a comedy show. He was absolutely brilliant.
It was good. And see, the thing about Muhammad Ali was showing a lot of love. He was showing, I mean, I'll never, ever forget the time when he, I got to hold myself, at a red light on 167th Street in the Bronx on the Grand Concourse. And there was this girl walking across the street who saw him, eyes split up like this. That's Muhammad Ali. That's Muhammad Ali. Let me tell you, they had to get the police to come out there because the traffic stopped. Ali got out to greet the people because he was the people's champ. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, the traffic stopped. People was coming out their houses, cars on the other side. Now, the Grand Concourse is a huge boulevard. No small place. Traffic stopped. People that's Muhammad Ali. He's in the car at a red light. They had to get the police there to move the traffic and to get things going. That's how impactful Muhammad Ali was. And, man, it was just magnificent to just see it, just to see it. It was like, that's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still deserving of the title, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Greatest
And
of all time.
that was a brilliant point you made on those stars and the losing of their children. And with Babalaji, how you reinforce that? That's the blood sacrifice.
Indeed.
That is, when you sign on that line, you are signing over somebody's blood in order for you to go on and do. And the way you just outlined that is just brilliant. What you and Babalaji doing this chapter together. I'm sitting back saying, I asked people last week to get their popcorn.
Right, you did. You did. And I had some popcorn, but it was 2 days ago.
The things that the sinister forces will promise you, because you want this thing so bad, all you have to do is bide your time, and God will give you that and so much more. You know, so much more. The deal that, you know, this is what I'm looking forward to us reading in volume 19 of the I Am Discourses. It is the love that we express that allows all that we want flow to us. God did not want us down here on earth, the most wicked planet in the universe, to want for anything. That we should all have been kingly. We should all have been princely. We should all have unfathomable wealth. It's what we do and what we don't do that keeps those things back from us. Just by changing what it is we're thinking and feeling and saying and doing.
But isn't that why we're here, Baba? Because it's like this is where the seeds go.
Right.
It's below the soil. We don't present yet. We come here to work out all of that, the DNA and the experiences and our truth. You know, for some way, all that's supposed to come together in some kind of gumbo that allows us to present as healthy beings as we were produced to be, that's why we came into existence. So that's why we're here.
Now you're taking me back to Thinking of Destiny, where Percival is saying, you know, some people, they staunch on the path, and then, you know, it could be the wealth, it could be the beautiful woman that just takes them right off, and the next thing you know, they're in another life trying to do it again. This life right here, go for yours. Pray to God. I got a prayer that we start out with in the morning. You know, God, let every step I take be the path back to you. It's like Faithful knows about this because she's there every morning. But we got to, you know, we got to hold hard to it, and we'll get, let's say, credit. And if we really hold hard, I mean, we really, really hold hard and don't, to the best of our knowledge, don't waver, then we'll get that. Saint Germain said to me one time, he goes, we've been asking you to say what you just said for 1,000 births. I'm like, 1,000? I didn't believe it was 1,000 years. He said for 1,000 births. And many of the cinnamon looked like there was at least 100 city masters there at that time. And I was like, hey, 1,000 births, me doing this? Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Where it's all a blink of an eye, remember? Yeah, because we're here for a very short time. So, and shout out to John McDonald, known as Vakunta. You know him.
He texts you. How you do it?
Well, he's commenting on the YouTube. So he and I have been, you know, he's been very active in the comment section.
I want to tell everybody who's here, I'm not in kindergarten as far as this technology go. I'm not as wise as a 2-year-old because I seen how the 2-year-olds be waxing and waning on.
Ain't that something?
I'm like, you'll see how I stumble on even getting to turn on the YouTube. So I just want to let everybody know, I don't know nothing about the technology. I'm trying to learn, you know, as we go. And I've been trying to learn. And as soon as I get one part of it, then they change it. And I'm like, now we're here. And it's FW with JD. Will you please come in? I'm asking about everything. And I'm just going to let God do this, y'all. When y'all see me look like I'm as stupid as I really am, please forgive a brother. Please. Because I'm going to work on it, but it's just not happening. It's going slow, y'all. It's just going slow.
Well, you give us opportunity to exercise patience and to master it. So we don't keep doing what you do and develop as you develop. we'll keep developing our patience.
And the beautiful thing, I think, Babalaji, is that your approach, I think everybody is animated with your approach because you keep it real. I mean, in other words, you got the Mukajumi going. You always had the Mukajumi going. I mean, when you what jumped out of the window and then it was on the train track and all of that kind of stuff as a kid, crossing those railroads. I mean, where trains going up to New Haven, folks, in New York City. We have a line all the way up into the into New Haven, a line, but there's a part of the Bronx where it's about 17 tracks, right, Loudie? I don't know. From
Yeah.
one side of it to the other, maybe about 17 different tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're playing in that. Baba Loudie's growing up playing in that, dodging trains and stuff like that. So we're at the Mukajumi. Some of the stuff they have known that we was talking about of his when he was in the Bronx and people who thought that they can terrorize the neighborhood came up to Babalaji and really knew that after Babalaji gave his point of view, they knew that they were either going to be dead or he was going to be dead. And they decided that they wanted to live. And so he's living. His family tells the stories about the Mukajumbi that he has had all of his life. So what he can keep it real, right? And what makes it so beautiful, people know they're talking about a genuine brother from Harlem, from New York City, who came into an extraordinary experience, as he indicated it to us last week, where when he met Baba Swami Muktananda, Muktananda himself invited Lauji to come to him to India, and Baba Lauji got up and did exactly what Swami Muktananda did, just in the presence of Swami Muktananda, and then the rest is what he has come back to bring us in the diaspora, right? The last time I checked, folks, in the audience, right, I can't find anyone else who have done that so far in the African American diaspora experience, from the tip of Canada all the way to the tip of South America and all of the islands of the Panama and Belize and everything, Jamaica, all of what is in between that in North and South America. I haven't found anyone who have come to the forefront. And now that we have this forum, we are giving the audience an opportunity, if there is someone out there in the city community that has this kind of experience, you can now come forth by day. In Heru, you can come forth by day or sit back and learn what God can do with a person who is unknown, right? And all of a sudden come back as a master teacher of a path that you are being taught for the very first time in the diaspora experience. And if we want to go back to 1619 and the 1619 project, if that's what you want to be your starting point, then we can start at that point, even though we know that when the French started the colonialism on the different nations in Africa and the Portuguese joined them, we're talking about the 14th century, right? We're talking about at the time they recognized Massa Musa and all that gold, and they decided that's going to be ours. And they start setting up the trading posts. That's the 14th century. But we can go back to the 1619 project. And if you can find an experience by anyone living or not living now in the body who is doing what Babalaji has done from a dead level, is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that he is going to raise us from a dead level. And he is going to breathe the word there among the logos of the Lord. He's going to breathe that logos of the Lord into us, and the resurrection of the Christ consciousness is going to take place right here in the United States of America. And we are now seeing that in us having a guru in this set of path, the last time I checked. So I didn't want y'all to interfere, but I knew I could not get through this chapter, Babalaji, without your guidance. And I knew
see.
that the only person who can enhance it with the eloquence that he always brings to the situation. That's why I said to the audience last week, get your popcorn, because Dea Moon is going to give you illustrations and charts and tell you what the colors are. And you're going to leave and say, oh, this is real. Oh, this is homegrown. Brothers and sisters from the United States of America. But anyway, brothers, y'all are full, and you and Dea Moon are wonderful together.
And listen, you might as well spray some of that on yourself, because you've definitely brought it as well, and we really appreciate you, Baba Hannibal. I can't tell you, I'm just so happy to have you back in this capacity. I've really missed you. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And by the way, send me your cell phone. Text me your cell phone so I can text you that piece. That I'm gonna love to see what you did when you show the audience of how that show that Bible out. How old were you when you watched that show? Because Malcolm is already assassinated, and Muhammad is already the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's refusing to go to the draft because he's saying no Vietnamese ever called me a nigger, and I'm not going over there to fight your war for you, right? You are the ones that's been killing the people in the United States. And such guy tore into him like a bat out of hell. And Muhammad Ali dispelled that show. He turned it into the Muhammad Ali Comedy Hour. There I moved, and you're going to have fun with that. And you will see what inspired. Babalaji, how old were you then? Because this is about 1967. It's about the same time that experience in the Bronx happened on the concourse. About that same year, 67 or 68, he was already in court. They had already stripped him of the title. So we can do the research and give the dates of exactly what made him the people champ, because he used that. Susskind used that as his attack. He said, but he's going all over the country, and large people are coming out to greet him because they are calling him the people champ, right? So it's that same period that you got inspired by him. And after I got inspired, I knew that there ain't nothing gonna turn me around.
Appreciate the kind words you said previously. And what I would say, to me being the only person that came, you just got to look a little further. There's plenty of people that spreading Bible.
Me and Carrie Ann gonna search, because Carrie Ann is the researcher, and she's going to create the glossary. So, brother Carrie Ann, can I ask you to be my research associate on that project that Baba John just gave us to do? Because if I'm incorrect, Sister Carrie Ann, like Maulana Ron Karinga says, and he's one of our major advocates of Ma'at, the goddess, the Netet, and the Metanetia Kemetic tradition, of everything that is truth, everything that is right, everything of the 42, like Dea Moon said. Not only is the 42 cosmic laws, it's the 42 principles, it's the 42 precepts, and it's the 42 ideals. And if you want to know how many cosmic laws that is, you got to understand what a cosmic law is. You have to understand what a cosmic precept is. You have to understand, as Dea Moon said, what a principle is and what ideals are as concepts, to see how powerful that great mother goddess Ma'at is in the Kemetic mind. And so that is what we come back when we join these two traditions of what Babalaji is coming back with, the Siddha path, with the Kemetic path. And Sister Carrie Ann, I'm asking you to be my research associate, and we're going to challenge Babalaji to see where the others are. And we should have what did Swami Muktananda say in this thing? We're going to go fishing, right? For the people who got fish on their mind. Wow. He said they're not meditating on being Siddha. They're meditating on fish.
On fish.
They want to be fish. They want to eat and fill their belly with fish. You're not going to find any feline Curious, meditating on being cinemasters. They're going to be meditating on the fish, and that's why they're at the lakes catching fish. He was brilliant.
What'd you say? Well,
I-
we can't hear you, Bible Algae. Go ahead.
Yeah, just come to me and say, okay, we found this or we didn't find that, and I'll give you the list of all the other people that's been out here in the Black community, setting up centers and doing the work. You know, I'm the lawless one that decided, hey, maybe a little bit that I know might stop somebody from thinking like I was thinking and going on a righteous path rather than to buck a whole system in every single solitary way I could think of. But and maybe people know me from that. The lawless one went to God. I mean, so that's what I would say. The criminal went to God, from guru to gangster, or from gangster to guru. That's going to be the title of one of these books. And
It was no different than Paul being a murderer who was a disciple of Jesus. I mean, you had thieves and everything else. So
no different from Malcolm going to Elijah. So this path, I think this path is for the righteous. You got to realize Jesus went to jail too. The Elijah Muhammad. What's this other one? Malcolm X.
Martin Luther King, he went to jail.
The King. All of that. I mean, so this path of the criminals going to God is a well worn out path. So I'm among I'm among the many, and I don't see it like y'all doing. I'm tired of arguing with y'all about it, so I believe it alone. But so we will get to God. Anyway, so look, we're at the top of 236.
Yes.
And it's already 12. So let's get the page, and then we come back next week with Baba Hannibal.
So I'm hoping, I read through the whole chapter, but I'm saying this whole chapter is a Babalaji and a Deamun chapter. Right? I'm trying to sit back and eat some more fish, right?
We're not going to let you eat fish.
I know I'm going to be eating the words of the truth because everything he's doing is pointing out what Babalaji said he was doing. He's telling the people about the false yogis, right? Who ain't got Siddha master students on their mind. They're in it for piling up the wealth, right? And he's keeping all through the chapter, he's given different stages of that meditation where he's peeling it back so that this real, like Carrie Ann, people who are in it because she has the passion to do the Guru Gitas, the chants, to get up in the morning because she's finding a teaching that she can put her intense feelings into and know that, this is a very definite path, right? And it doesn't contradict any of her Christian training, any of her love for the prophets, or in any of the Abrahamic religion, whether you start with the Torah, the Injil, or the New Testament, or the Quran. It doesn't interfere with any of that whatsoever, right? It's what Baba Daimon just indicated. He hit the nail of the truth of the Karyas, Babalaji, that you so eloquently is breaking down to the students. And this is your chapter. This is another Babalaji chapter. And with the popcorn, Daimon is going to show people the animation, particularly when they play that clip of Muhammad Ali. That's going to say, oh, I really understand why Babalaji was so inspired, right, by Muhammad Ali when he saw that presentation. So I think we just keeping it real.
So let me read. I'm gonna knock out this page.
Okay.
Dayamun, you take the 237, all right? And I'll do 36.
Okay.
What page are we on, Babalaji? And what paragraph are you picking up on?
Very top of the page.
Okay.
236.
Right.
236. Okay.
She does not depend on any support. She is self-effulgent. She freely enjoys her own bliss within herself and needs nothing else. She is the power of will, resolute and unique, who can perform any miracle she desires. She is power of knowledge, acting within both the knower and the known. She is the power of action, who produces the energy that creates the innumerable objects of the world. These five These fivefold Shakti is in God. This fivefold Shakti is in God. The same Shakti is in every guru. It enters each disciple according to his worth. The same fivefold Shakti pervades as one force the disciple, the guru, and God. Unless you realize this, you will not understand how the guru knows the quality of your meditation and the feeling of your heart. This is why I say that you should never let yourself get into Heron meditation. The heron stands in a lake from morning to evening with his eyes shut, but he does not find the light of Chitti Shakti. He does not experience the happiness of the power of bliss, nor the miracle of the power of volition, nor the fruit of discriminating power of knowledge, nor the direct experience of the power of action. Why not? Because although it looks like a yogi's meditation, the Heron meditation is on fish. What results do you want from meditation? What do you contemplate in meditation? Your meditation for a set period. You meditate for a set period, but what does your mind actually love? You see someone crying, so you cry, but you don't know why he is crying. You see one laughing, so you laugh, but you don't know why he is laughing. Someone is waving a finger, so you wave 10, but you don't know why he is doing it or why you are doing it. Someone spins around once, so you spin around 25 times. But but do you know why he is spinning or why you spin around so many times? You are only imitating him. His movements are caused by the inner Shakti, but yours are caused by your external mind. This is what is called Heron meditation. Muktananda says to both, well done. What fine kriyas you are having. You've come a long way. You've risen very high. How wonderful. He blesses both of them like this. A heron meditates all day on fish and fills his stomach with fish. You have laughed a little, cried a little, done some kriyas, and have been congratulated tenfold for all this. So what else should happen? The herons meditate on fish, and you meditate on praise, not on the inner Shakti. You want to take it from there?
Yes.
Thank you, Baba. That was wonderful. Wonderful reading.
Yes. So the heron gets fish, you get praise. If anyone asks you and the heron why you haven't reached Vaikuntha, the answer would be that you never meditated on Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha. Thank you. You receive what you meditate on. There are many ashrams that grant you the fruit of your desires. About 20 years ago, I lived near an ashram that contained the Samadhi shrine of a Siddha saint. Many pilgrims would visit this Samadhi. I also used to go to. I would walk around the tomb solely out of devotion for the self. Then I would meditate quietly in a distant corner. My mind would contemplate the self, and so I attained the fruit of this practice. Among the other people who habitually visited the Samadhi was a married couple. They had no children, and they used to sit down and meditate because they wanted a child. Eventually, they received some instructions, and a child was born to them. There was also a man who came because he wanted to win a court case. Another who came because he wanted to pass his college exams, and another who came because he wanted to get rid of an illness. There were people who came to meditate because they wanted to make money, and people who came to meditate in order to satisfy their sensuous desires. There were also those people who came simply for leisure and enjoyment, and who used the Samadhi as a rendezvous, since it was not easy for them to meet in Mumbai. They would make an agreement. You come from that direction, I'll come from this direction. In particular, college boys and girls will make pilgrimages to the Samadhi to meet in secret, for no one is forbidden to visit a Samadhi. Thus, many people, including Swami Muktananda, used to visit this place. People would say Muktananda Swami received siddhis. Is I say that right? Siddhis?
Cities.
Cities. Okay.
Powers. Cities are supernatural powers that you gain on the
Okay.
sisterhood by doing the work.
All right. So people will say Muktananda Swami receives cities at this samadhi. Why didn't other people get anything from the shrine of the Baba? Then they would say to me, Swamiji, why did you get so much when other people didn't get anything? I would reply, they got everything too. I got what I wanted. I wanted knowledge, meditation, devotion, and close friendship. Sorry, my page wouldn't turn.
The close friendship with God, and these things were granted to me. The couple
Yeah.
who wanted a child got a child. The man who wanted knowledge got knowledge. The man who wanted to win court cases won his court case. The man who wanted wealth became wealthy, and the boy and girls who wanted to carry on their love affair carried on their love affair. Everyone got just what they wanted. You will get the fruits of your meditation in different ways and varying degrees according to the depth of your feelings, your basic nature, your faith in the Guru, and your knowledge of him, your faith in the inner Shakti, and your knowledge of her ways, the manner in which you meditate, and the motives behind your meditation. If, like a heron, you are only pretending to meditate, a flying chariot will not descend from Mount Kailas. However, you will certainly get a couple of fish to eat. Therefore, in meditation, you should be careful and not desire, and your desires should be pure. You must see where it is that your mind concentrates itself. How involved it gets in other things. When Muktananda meditated, he had one supreme deity, Bhagavan Nityananda. Nityananda was his guru brother, his guru sister. He did not give his love to any guru brother or have a relationship with any guru sister. After all, what's the use of finding new brothers and sisters when you have left your real ones? Isn't there deceit and falsehood in such relationships? All the people in the world are one's brothers and sisters. There's no value in becoming attached to one and averse to another. Nityananda was Muktananda's dear relative and friend. He had no friends beside him, and he never deceived anyone in the name of Nityananda. He constantly meditated on Nityananda, reflected on Nityananda, thought about Nityananda. In Nityananda, he found complete satisfaction. In him, he found full contentment, peace, joy, and self-knowledge. One day, when I went to the meditation room in the ashram, I found a young yogini laughing loudly, her eyes closed in a charming mudra. I went over to her and said, "You seem very happy. Why are you laughing so much?" She answered, "Baba, I was just thinking that some people believe you're simple-minded. They think they can fool you and trick you by pretending to meditate with great intensity. However, you are neither fooled nor tricked. You pretend that you don't know what's going on and bluff them. That's what's making me laugh." You want to take that, Brother Diamond?
Yeah. I said, daughter, it's very true. I give them just what they want. Meditators. You may be meditating very deeply, having kriyas and experiencing all sorts of deep and intense feelings. But remember that within me, the power of knowledge that is also your own inner self is ready with paper and pencil to give a report on all of this. This girl was quite right to laugh and say what she did. And it was her remark that inspired me to write this chapter. It was this power that revealed the above secret to her. I have a sort of secret meditation meter that nobody can see. But with it, I can see what kind of meditation you are doing and what your real worth is. Therefore, examine yourselves and see what type of outer and inner clears you have, toward what goal your actions are directed. How much inner faith do you have? What does your mind cling to or seek refuge in? This will indicate your real motives for visiting the sacred shrine, whether you're seeking children, a cure for disease, employment, or a college degree. Whatever desire there may be behind your pilgrimage, that will be fulfilled. So examine thoroughly your motives for meditating. You ask me why don't you see? Why you don't see Rameshwaram? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Rameshwaram.
Yes.
When your thoughts are directed
What is
north.
that concept? But hold it before you move on. Bob allows you. What is the word? Say it to the audience and give us what that concept is.
Rameshwaram. It's in the south of India.
Is that a town?
It's like a town, or I think it may be. Matter of fact, let's go and instead of me thinking it may be, I think it's a city in or a town in a holy city in the south of India. Ramesh, let me look right in the
The glossary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. A sacred place in South India.
All right.
You know, it's a sacred place in the south of India. Maybe we'll all go there one day. I'm not sure if it's one of the 108 holy places in India. And even when you get to some of the holy places, I've been in a couple of, they don't look like they're these great centers of this or that. It look like somebody forgot them, some of them. Nonetheless, it's in the south.
Okay. So you asked me why you don't see Rameshwaram when your thoughts are directed north. Oh, brother, Rameshwaram is in the south. So turn yourself around, meditate on the south, then you will see Rameshwaram. I have a great desire to tell a story for today's pilgrims on this spiritual path. It is the story of Lila and Majnu.
Marjun.
Majun.
Marjun, yes.
Majun, not Majnu. So Majun. Okay.
Lila Marjun. It's a old story of love yeah, if you
Okay.
say it right now.
Okay. So taken from this discourse, from the discourses of Swami Rama Tirtha.
Raman Tirth.
Rama Tirth. Okay. Lila was the daughter of a king, and Majun was the son of a laborer. They were very much in love, but could not get married because the difference in their social status. This, however, did not prevent them from yearning for each other with deep love. Their love increased every day until they became almost mad thinking about each other. Lila would climb to a room high up in the palace and call Majun, Majun. Majun would
Marjun.
Majun would wander through the streets of the city crying, Lila, Lila. He had only one ambition, to be united with Lila. She was his only desire, his only succor, his only hope. Majun was not promiscuous. For a moment, he did not think of anything but Lila. When Majun's father saw his son's madness, he was very frightened, thinking that the king would punish Majun. But Majun himself was not frightened, for true love does not care about anything. The king, Lila's father, was also very worried when he saw his daughter's condition. He called doctors, magicians, astrologers, and experts in mantras and tantras, but nothing had any effect on her. He would suggest a visit to the theater to divert her, but she would only say, will Majun be there? He would say, let us travel far away into a cool and beautiful land. She will reply, Majun is not there. I don't want to go. Thus Majun and Lila pine for each other. Muktananda says, if you long for something, long for it like this, otherwise don't. To pursue something for selfish ends is of no use and cannot lead you to God. Because they thought about each other and meditated on each other all the time, Lila and Majun completely lost themselves. Lila thought about Majun and so much that she became Majunu. Oh, she became Majun. And Majun thought about Lila so much that he became Lila. If a meditator withholds a part of himself and does not lose himself completely, he is a thief. He is stealing what he holds back. A poem I once heard describes Majun's exact state exactly. He is not worried about his food nor anxious for any gain. He is not attached to his body, nor does he cling to life itself. Majun had only one hope, that he might attain Lila. He wandered around completely forgetful of himself. The people of the city took him for a lunatic. Seeing Majun in this state, the king felt pity for him, for he became convinced that Majun's love for his daughter was true. Majun had ceased to exist as Majun and had offered himself to Lila, like earrings melted onto gold. He saw Lila everywhere he looked. There was no more you and I, only Lila remained. The king ordered ordered a proclamation in the town. Majun is not well. His love for Lila has made him helpless. Give him food and drink and clothes and send the bills to the royal treasury. Everywhere in the town it was heard that Majun, because he had thought about nothing but Lila, was was to receive everything he wanted from the king. All the destitute, lazy, and needy people in the town, all the parasites, realized that it would be a good plan to pretend to be Majun, and so every day a new Majun appeared. The number of new Majuns increased. That is hilarious.
It's so choppy, he's bombing.
The chapter. Pretense.
Pretense, right?
Yes.
That's hilarious. So all the new Majuns got shoes, clothes, and food from the shopkeepers, and the bills were sent to the treasury. The king noticed that Majun's bills were running into thousands, and he had inquiries made. He discovered that there were over 1,000 Majuns in the town. Because I had pity, this misfortune had come. He thought to himself, wondering what to do next. He had a very clever minister in his service, and this minister said, Your Majesty, if you delegate full authority to me, I shall handle the matter. The king agreed, and the minister sent the crier around to proclaim. Exactly 1 week from today at 12 noon, Majun will be hanged, for he has fallen in love with the princess, and this is again the law. The effect of this proclamation was startling. Oh, so this is against the law, and the effect of this proclamation was startling. All the Majuns threw away their clothes and shoes and hats and ran as far away as they could. They found jobs in offices and houses and factories. They all did their best to hide their identities, since if they were discovered, they would be hanged. All of them disappeared. Only the real Majun remained. He was quite ready to be speared to death or burned alive, for he had no desire to keep his life. Oh, let's see where this is going. His only desire was for Lila. He had lost himself in Lila. Only the real Majun had a genuine desire, and only he was left. It was, and it was the real Majun who found his Lila. Dear students of meditation, your worth can only be ascertained when you are put through a test. And there is a test for meditation, just as there is for anything else. The one who proves to be a true Majun, a true meditator, will find his Lila, which is God.
Let
The
me take
rest, go ahead.
the rest will throw off their clothes and shoes, hats, and run away. The state of true meditator is like the state of Marjun. Do real meditation instead of meditating like a heron. You will find true happiness. Welcome the fivefold Shaktis within you. You should always think of the Guru and lose yourself in him. The man who loses his sense of himself through meditation and lets himself merge with his deity becomes that deity, just as an earring, when it is melted down, becomes a piece of gold. The man who merges into the deity attains godhood. He is completely blessed, and his parents too are blessed. Only a man like this attains everlasting life, from a mortal to become immortal. When a devotee receives the nectar of devotion, when he sees the world as empty and his own self pervading all beings from Brahma to an insect, then he becomes full of love within and without. Every hair of his body is filled with love. The Guru's knowledge will certainly be in one who has this sort of devotion. Chidi will play in him all the time. He is a worthy Siddha student, for he has already understood the greatness of meditation. He constantly honors the Guru's Shakti, reveals within him, and sings the praise of the Guru. All his weeping ceases. Muktananda says that a man like this has found complete and eternal bliss. Nityananda is truly within him. Truth is rewarded with truth, and falsehood with falsehood. And you must decide which you want. If you want truth, meditate with truth. Perfect peace is not far away. It lies within your own self. But first, you must become completely pure.
Wow. Now you know something.
That was extraordinary. And I just want to say, in my conclusion, I came back to what I started with. B. Nityananda. B. Swami Muktananda. Go ahead, Dayamu. I just
Indeed.
wanted to say that.
Indeed. I think because even as we're reading this, I think it's just so important to distinguish who it is that this is talking to, this is speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember that we have people today who are trying to be somebody else. Okay. And we know we ain't talking about this on just any level. You know, so we have men that are trying to be women, women that are trying to be men, you know, and so we're talking about a difference in mindset. And this message is going out to those who are trying to transcend their humanism, not those who are constantly holding on to their, desires and emotionality, sensuality, and identifying with the outer. Because as I say, as that can be reflected. The outer and the inner can reflect each other. And so I think it's so important that we highlight who it is that we're talking to. Mm-hmm. That's extremely important.
I think that we can slip into Marjun, and we can slip into those pretenders, and we have to watch ourselves at every step along the road, because this I know: a beautiful woman can appear before you and take you far off the path. A wealthy can appear before a beautiful woman and take her far off the path, and you could be a prostitute like Canthra who was a saint, and no one could take you off the path. Mm-hmm. And we just have to remember that we could be Marjun and will be Marjun on the path, and we could fall like they say, the path is like a razor's edge. There is no going off to this side and that side and think you can just get back on like that. It doesn't work like that. I mean, you know, even in regard to doing workout, those who don't know, Brother Diamond here is a workout expert and a master. And if you go away from your sadhana, if you go away from your path of keeping your body in this form and on this path, when you try to come back to it, it's not as easy as it was as you would toil through every day, just staying straight to the razor's edge of that path. This is the path. And you could go so far off the path that the next thing you know, now you're in a whole nother realm that you did not intend to go. And when you went to that other place, you went there with good intentions. You didn't go there to be off or go bad. And God forbid you went there with bad intentions because you knew you were going wrong and went anyway. You know, so there could be two ways that you go off, but the straight path, narrow, like a razor's edge, you stay to it, you will get to God. You will get to the destination, even if it ain't God. Whatever it is, you will get there. But if you veer away from it, the time you lose may be the time you never get back again. You know, a song by Smokey Robinson. It was on the album. It was on the Going to the Go-Go album. This is way back. So half of y'all don't know nothing about this, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit. I consider Smokey Robinson the greatest poet of the 20th century. Anyway, it says, in essence, this song is Love's Road. And he says, don't give up your lover, because when you veer away from that path, you may never see or meet him or her again in your life. This holds extremely true for the path to God. Extremely true. As you veer off, you may never see that person again. And this is what I thought about when I was with Baba. And I said to myself, you know what? I've been wanting to meet a guru since I was 8 years old. As soon as I found out about one, I knew that this is where I'm supposed to go, right? And so I'm going to stay with him until he takes Mahasamadhi or he passed away. And I stayed on that. I did not realize that was only part of the path, because if he goes, what does that mean for you? He was on the path to God. He got you on the path to go to God, not to go to him. And he told us straight away, he said, you need to go to the guru within, your mighty I am present. That's the one who led you to me. That's who I really am in physical form. You need to go to that. So when I'm gone, you still going to that. This is a secret, because when you meet the guru will give you so much love. You thinking that you're with the supreme, but you're really with your own inner self manifested in a physical form that you call guru. And the deal is, you got to stay no matter what happens. You stay to that. If Marjun, if Layla would have died, Marjun would have went after her, in death. There would be no time that him and Layla would have been separated. It'd have been like, I'm going there. And there was a movie I saw that was so high powered, where this girl, I think I mentioned it before in the earlier chapters. It was a movie with I don't remember the girl's name, but Paul Ryan was in this movie, and she comes into their apartment, and she sees her husband, who she loved so much, plunge a knife into his heart and is dead. And the first thing she did, took that same knife and plunged it in her own heart to be with him. This is a great story. Great story. I mean, if y'all get a chance to see that movie, I would definitely. Matter of fact, at the end of the movie, the messenger of God comes and says, you were a coward, you did this, blah, blah, boom, you're going to hell. And he says to his wife, you were faithful, loyal, and devoted. Because of your devotion, if you want to go with him, you can, but you're going to go back to life. And the husband said, I did the wrong thing, and I appreciate your love and devotion. I don't want you going to hell with me. I don't want that. You go back to life. And she just stayed there silent and everything. And the messenger said, come on, we got to go. And as soon as he took one step toward that messenger to go to hell, she was one right step right behind him. She was like, where you go, I go. I don't care. You're going to hell, you're going wherever you're going, I'm going with you. And this is how we got to pursue the path. And through her devotion, the next thing they found was themselves, right? Back in that apartment. And they had the memory of all of this. No scars on their body, no wounds, you know, and it was her devotion that saved them both. This is how we got to be on the path for God.
That sounds
Yeah.
exactly like the devotion of Ist or Aset to Osar.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
Absolutely.
just like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
because she was very sacrificial in her devotion, you know, to bring him back together and everything. Yes.
And not only that, but she was very successful and getting
Very
a child out of the deal.
Yeah.
And he went on and made his ascension, right? And that became one of the greatest comedic stories and over the last 15,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
In Kemet alone, I'm not talking about AD time. It was already 50,000 years when Jesus the Christ of Nazareth came back with a lot of these teachings, like you'll find in the Nas Hammadi, of talking about the last time the Christ consciousness came through, as Babalauji and Saint Germain is going to point out to us that, you know, in that particular incarnation, when it comes back now as Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. But that was the whole devotion, and that Osirian cosmic drama and the family of the Osirian cosmic drama in the Milky Ocean, or the Milky Way galaxy, or the rivers of the Milky Way rivers of life, was 10,000 years of age, anywhere between 10,000 and 15,000 years BC, before the birth of Christ, which means that we're talking about a tradition that had a running almost through a complete 26,000 year processional cycle, right? 15,000 years of a 26,000 years is like half of the 26,000 year cycle. And it was the entire Osirian drama that dominates from the point that the Sphinx is looking at the constellation of the Virgin in the sky, in the heavens, in the zodiac, 12 signs of the 12 zodiac types, from the age of the Virgin giving birth to the Christ consciousness through the, and that's what, again, Godfrey Higgins got caught up in Anacalypsis, and then Madame Blavatsky tried to explain in Isis Unveiled, and then Manly Hall picked up on it, the secret teachings of all of the ages. They're all talking about the unveiling of the mysteries of the great goddess, the great mother, or Set, right? In the devotion that she has with her husband, King Asa, and the two of them producing the Christ consciousness as the Runu Imperu that comes forth by day and the everlastingness of night. And that's 15,000 years. And by the time Joshua ben Pandera, which is his Hebrew name, Jehoshua, comes back with those teachings, and now they got it captured in the Nash Hammadi of what those teachings were, we now recognize what is now we're going to go into, particularly if you go into chapter 17 of Saint Germain, of the Jesus of Christ of Nazareth, who comes back with that consciousness. And as Baba Lauji says, the kind of crucifixion that happens. But the Holy Quran says, the Holy Quran has a chapter that says, surely he was not crucified. It was only made to appear as if he was crucified. And the Gospel of James and in the Nag Hammadi also says he went on to live through all of the ages of adulthood, which means from all of the ages of from 30, 40, 50, and 60, right? And when it was in the Acts of the New Testament, Paul's writing, when it says that he was hung on the cross and crucified in the city of Antioch. It was made to appear, is what the Quran is saying, but we raised him up. And he went on. And then, of course, the whole thing of Mary Magdalene and him hooking up is where you get the rest of the story that they
Right.
went on to France. And that's what you were talking about, Babalaji, when you was talking about the siring of the bloodline of the Merovingians and the kings, when it goes into Europe and, the Holy Grail and I got all the collection on that whole series. But the point is that Christ consciousness, when we get to Jesus of Nazareth, we got to take a look at what the Quran says about the appearance and also what Muktananda is saying about illusion. That's why the previous chapter was so important when you get into just write a pivotal question and then go to the encyclopedia. What is the genuine meaning of the word illusion? And you will see that it means how the sight and your minds can play tricks on you, right? That you think you're seeing something that is in reality, but you're seeing something that you're processing through your neurological system that is a distortion of reality. So that previous chapter, when he went into illusion, and then you go into the research of what that term really meant, you say, whoa, how heavy that chapter was when he says the whole world is an illusion. And you go into the research of what is he saying, because he's saying something profound. This is Swami Muktananda saying that. And you go into the word, what is the genuine meaning of the concept of illusion or the word illusion? It'll take you into another level of perception of how the mind can be tricked, and what you're singing, you think you're singing, and you're not seeing reality at all. So that's how heavy these two chapters are. And I want to just say, Babalaji and Dayamun, I knew that the two of you had to be the ones to do this chapter. And Babalaji, I really want to thank you so much for all of the insights you gave us in carrying us through this chapter with Brother Dayamun. And I love listening to Dayamun read and ask his questions as he's reading.
I want to say something. We got two of the most purest women in this group, in this country, where the average woman brags about being the whores of Babylon. So when they put up their hand or they want to ask a question, we have to give them, like a lead, because they're not going to interrupt us. As Mother Naima said before, they're not going to interrupt us. So we will wax and wane, forever, and keep veggie backing off each other left and right. So when we see that they want to speak, we need to give them that opportunity, because they won't interrupt us.
Yeah.
They're the pure women from Earth. Okay, so
Yes,
we have to give them their shot. So you had a question.
I just want to give my thoughts on what was said. The question that Saba asked was, who is he talking to? Who is our guru talking to? And then I think the answer Baba Hannibal initiated. If we're operating out of illusion, really we're talking to people who are trying to dismantle that illusion. And I think they dismantle it by working on dissolving the ego, working on getting a deeper awareness, and really understanding the true self. So I think those three things is, if we could identify those who are working on those three things, that's who he's talking to, and I think he touched on it when he talked about the fivefold and really looking at the things like the power of bliss, the power of action, the power of will, the power of knowledge, and the power of consciousness, which I think those fivefold things lead us to love and really getting to the point of why we meditate and why we stop pretending, so we could go into that space of trueness. So I just wanted to touch on the way I was hearing the the words of the book and the way you described it. So yeah, that's what I.
And
Thank you.
Mother
Thank you for that
Naiva, are
insight,
you
Mother.
there, or you got any?
Karen.
I know you're busy doing what you do, but are you there? You got any insight or comments you'd like to give to the group?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about the background noise. But yeah, it was a really good chapter. But I think that when you gave me the information about, or just a brief comment on who it is, what it is that you're doing in meditation, and you're going there to commune with with self, with guru, with your gurus, because you are that. That's really that was the most profound thing, because I didn't really know what I was going into meditation for, per se. And this chapter kind of confirms it. And also, I was wondering if when you talked to the people over at Saint Germain Foundation and the lady said you should not meditate, or I don't know the context of how she was saying that, but it seems like meditation, if you're meditating on this basis of the heron concept that they have here, that they're speaking on in the book, then that's a reason for not meditating when you're trying to precipitate and manifest things that you're trying to bring forth, that Saint Germain is explaining how to do, especially in volume 19. So I can see why, if you're meditating for the wrong purposes and you don't even know it, and you don't know how to meditate, then maybe you shouldn't be meditating.
This is possible. I don't know about shouldn't be meditating, because the longer you meditate, the more the truth is going to come to you, whether you're meditating for the good reasons or the wrong reasons. But I also see this in regard to being on the path. It's like, because you could say that same thing to prayer. You could say that same thing for decrees or any aspect of the techniques. All the spiritual techniques are mental practices, and they will lead you to where you want to go. Your intention will get you there faster, but you could be there for the wrong intention. And I've seen it more than once. You could go to be with a guru because there's some beautiful woman in your eyes that went to the guru. And once you get there, although you went there for false pretenses, when you get there, the guru is going to put the Mickey Jumi on you, and you're never going to be able to get out of going to God. You're going to be like, oh, no, I came here for this, but I got that. And, I'm glad that I met you, fine woman, and all like that. But if you're leaving here to go back to the States now, I'll see you later. I ain't leaving the guru. So you can go to God for all kind of reasons. There's people that go to the Hare Krishna organization because the food is so good, and they go there to eat. Next thing they know, they singing and chanting, and they're like, you know what? I'm a fast so I can stay here. I'm gonna ask God to, I'll do a 40-day fast so He give me the boon that I don't never leave this place, or any other such type of situation. And I can hear y'all. So you being smart. I'm gonna tell you, I got decades stored up of butt whooping. I got decades stored up of butt whooping. Anyway.
You're screaming.
That's too funny.
So it's like that. Really, people come to God many different ways. Some people come just because they hear the chanting and they want to know, man, I like that. Let me go there and do that. I want to do that. And there's many different ways to come. God feels like this. Any way you go is a good way to go. When I when I came back from Baba, when I first met Baba to get my little brother, because I always got him involved in anything I did. And I told my grandma, because she was traveling all over the country to the preachers, this one, that one, the other one. I said, I met a man. He was like Christ, Grandma. He was like Christ. He had the power and everything. She said, as soon as I told her, I want to meet him. You know, and I'm like, huh? Because she's staunch Christian. You know how Christians are, and you know, holy rollers and all like this. And I go, why? And she says to me, anybody that can change you, I want to meet. You know, she used to call us Mills devils. You know, she used to call me and my brothers and sisters devils. You know, and but she gave us a title, Mills devils, which is my father's last name. Y'all Mills devils. And she said that to me. And when she went up there to meet the guru, she's on the Darshan line coming up to him. And as soon as she saw her, as soon as she saw him, as soon as he saw her coming to the line, he goes, hey, hey, you know, now this is a woman in her 80s. I think at the time she's like 86. And, you know, he greeted her like, you here, you know, like, and she's like, and she's feeling like, holy cow, he don't even know me, but he know me, you know? And so now that you see what I'm saying, Mother Naima? It's like you get there, and any way you get there is legitimate.
Yes, I get it.
You could get there running from the police like I did. I didn't go to Baba to get to the guru at that time. I was like, I'm running from the police. Okay, that's what I'm doing. And I figured, you know what? They'll never look for me here. I'm a safe. They ain't never going to be looking for me here. And the next thing I know, when I'm meeting Baba, he goes, "It's a good thing you came here for a month." You know, so any way is legitimate to go. You know, any way to get to God is really going to be a legitimate way. And so now, as usual, we're over
by an hour.
and I'm going to go ahead and do what I got to do. And I thank everybody here for being here. And God bless us all, one and all, and all the audience of people who is listening to us. And I'm going to say Sagurunath, Maharaj Ki Jai, and God bless you all. And so we meet next week.
God bless.
All right.
Thank you, goddesses. Mother Kellyanne, thank you for those wonderful, wonderful words from the heart and from the Queen Mother. Always nice to have the goddess in the house. And I see that you and Sister Naima, Mother Naima, y'all coming closer and closer to Shiti in the Vedic tradition, and Ma'at and Queen Orset in the Kemetic tradition. So keep it up. You're going to make good little boys out of all this alpha-driven Mukajumi male that's driving these three. I don't know. I don't want to say the rest, but all of us got the Mukajumi that our Babalaji has. And so keep us in the place, because we're always going to be the child of the great mothers. Wherever you're always going to be your mama's baby. So I submit to you and Mama Karen and Naima. Thank you so much for being in my life.
Indeed.
Thank you, Baba.
Mama said, Assalamu alaikum, Saguna, Maharaj Ki Jai. Baba, thank you so much, Laoji Deamun. Thank you so much. I just got your text. I'm sending you Muhammad Ali right now.
Indeed. And want to say thank you to Vaikunta, John McDonald, who also joined us in chat on YouTube today, and he did reference a movie, What Dreams May Come, where the husband went into hell to retrieve his wife in response to when you were talking. So thank you, brother, for engaging with us on YouTube.
Maybe he'll join in, you know, but he's here now in the background. So peace, everybody.
Peace, peace out, Baba Laoji. Again, thank you, Deamon. Thank you, Bob, for all of the insights that you gave.